unlike a rally, unlike a press conference, unlike parliamentary debates, has to ultimately appeal to your intellect, to your logic. No doubt with large doses of emotion, but I have to bring you back to your logic. The first point, I don't know if I have time for my 7-8 points, but the first point, this debate should be allowed for the motion on 2 short grounds. Not that I'm asking you to do so. The first short ground, that if you add up all the excesses of time on our side and adjust them against the excesses of time on the other side, we have done less violation of the time limit. And we must get brownie points for that. Second, every answer, the Siddharth Shankar Ray answer, the emergency answer, the Jammu and Kashmir insurgency of 1997 answer, the N.T. Rama Rao answer, the 1988 Bhopal answer, and so on and so forth, all are laments of the past. Have you heard an answer that this House seeks to debate? Idea of India today in 2019. Yes, everything which happened in this country prior to 2014 was wrong. Do 2 wrongs make a right? You haven't heard an answer about 2019. Each one of my friends has spoken about the past. That famous phrase invented by this new dispensation, legacy issues. Anything and everything happens here is a legacy issue. So on that second short point, the House must vote for the motion. My second point, my friend Mr. Amit Mitra talked of Golwalkar, somebody I was going to quote. But 2 things I must add to it. One, Golwalkar not only, and this is not about Golwalkar, it is about the soch, the thought process, which allows, friends, have you ever heard of lynchings prior to 2014 of this magnitude? Be honest to yourself. No. Have you heard about homogenization of dress, speech, eat, walk, talk? No. Well, why? The root cause is that soch. And what is that soch? The RSS, in a little known clarification, has abridged the original Golwalkar bunch of thoughts. They've reissued Golwalkar because it's not fashionable to read Golwalkar in the original form, which has these paeans of praise about Hitler, about the Aryan race, and about anti-minoritism in India. Direct purple passages, too loaded to be read to a civilized audience of Calcutta. The second point, my friend Mr. Amit Mitra did not mention. There were 2 assassination attempts on Gandhi. That's the same soch. The persons who were acquitted had recently left the venerable organization who publishes a magazine and were active members of another organization, Hindu Mahasabha. But their roots were in the other organization. And between the 2, between the successful and the unsuccessful attempt, was a very significant meeting of both Godse and Pava with Veer Savarkar. But the probative level of beyond reasonable doubt in law does not permit a conviction. Yes, they were not convicted as members of the RSS, but they were convicted as members of the Hindu Mahasabha and of a thought process. And that thought process is the process which allows these lynchings, allows these actions, allows these events. Third, secularism I can't understand. If Indira Gandhi inserted the word secularism in 1976 in the Constitution, why is it such a big bugbear? Should we delete it? Well, if you have the consensus, should we delete it? By deleting the word secularism, by stating what you say is the obvious, are you strengthening secularism? No. The reason is that the ministers, MLAs and MPs of this government, who without impunity, with a wink and a nod, are able to say haramzades, are able to say go to Pakistan, are able to ostracize Nasruddin Shah, that part would not have the protection of the word secularism in the Constitution. I am a proud Hindu, but I don't practice necessarily the same brand of Hinduism as others do. The fourth point, dynasty. 3 quick points. Did they ever tell you that this huge bugbear of dynasty, from 1991 to 2019, there has been no Gandhi-Nehru at the helm of Prime Ministership. That's 28 short years. In between, there has been no commoner except Modi ji who has risen. There has been no Charan Singh, there has been no Lal Bahadur Shastri, there has been no Devagowda, there has been no Narasimha Rao, there is no Dr. Manmohan Singh. The only person who can claim raise claim to commonality is Narendra Modi. The emergency was an aberration. I have had no hesitation for several years in not defending it. Will you beat us with that bugbear now? And was it not the same Indira Gandhi who in less than 36 months revoked it? The emergency under Articles 356 onwards, 359, makes you still accountable during emergency. You can be tested on those articles, but you cannot test the night calls which go today to the press. You cannot hold accountable the fear today. If the birds believe you, please tell them that Urjit Patel and Rajan went back of their own volition. Any self-respecting person who has not told about demonetization till 24 hours before must resign at some point of time. And have you ever had friends? If you can't win the football game, change the rules of the game. The NSSO is wrong. The GDP rate is wrong. Recalculate backwards the GDP rate to show Congress regimes wrongly. From 2015, I think, Dr. Mitra will correct me, there is no employment data published. So, you don't play football by the normal rules. You simply change the rules of the game. Because this government is practicing it without emergency. And lastly, on the most immoral alliance in the world, Jammu and Kashmir was entered into by this government, Mr. Modi, and in PDF. Two governments were run. One in Jammu, one in Kashmir. That most sensitive state of India was left hanging in between. And Mr. Modi just walked away. 6 months later, he tried to walk back in when a fax machine stopped working in Governor House. This is how they played with Jammu and Kashmir. And they are talking of Jammu and Kashmir of 1997. And lastly, I challenge you, take 4 parameter statistics. Ceasefire violations, army deaths, civilian deaths, cross-border terrorism. There is a 2 to 3-fold increase from 2014 onwards. Please, I challenge you, I don't know the time, I have the figures. Twice or 3 times increase in each of those parameters. And they are telling you about Jammu and Kashmir. Well, friends, there are lots of other things, but you have to think hard. You have to think facts, you have to think logic. And there is, I would say, without being presumptuous and with all humility, no option but to vote for the motion. Thank you.